Greetings, it is I, Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome. It is time for Gathering the Roll, the only news program supported by the Empire, with exciting and fantastic news from the worlds of collectible card games such as Magic the Gathering, Pokemon the trading card game, and of course, Yu-Gi-Oh!, of role-playing games like Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, Shadowrun, and the World of Darkness. And of course, plenty of board game, card game, and dice game news to fill things out. But let's start today, of course, where we always start with some collectible card game news. So, if you are going to be going to San Diego Comic-Con, Magic the Gathering has announced their new promos that are released. These are basically versions of a lot of the Planeswalker cards that have come out in the past couple of sets that have been made to look like Egyptian murals, including a version of Nicol Bolas that's said to be drawing out these murals. If you combine all the pictures together, it looks like he's crafting them themselves. They're very interesting versions of Planeswalkers that will be in promo form coming out soon. Now let's move on to some Yu-Gi-Oh! News. There's a new expansion booster pack out, Battles of Legend, Light's Revenge. Basically, they're looking at all the climactic, interesting battles that have happened in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Animated series over the years, and they're bringing forth a set of cards based upon all these different battles. Each pack has 5 cards to it. It is available now if you are interested, or you are also a fan of both the card game and the anime series. You can get some cards that are based around those big climactic battles. Now let's move on to some role-playing game news. Let's start, of course, with Dungeons & Dragons. First off, we do have some information. D&D has released another plane shift. If you're unaware of the plane shifts, they meld D&D with the world settings of Magic the Gathering. This one is for the Amonkhet plane, which the latest sets have been in. So if you want to play your D&D games in one of these Magic the Gathering worlds, Amonkhet is now an option for you. Plane shift is a very interesting thing. It just gives rules for new races, creatures, class adaptations, various things that allow you to adapt your D&D games to basically playing in these Magic settings. That one is out now. Also out is a new Unearthed Arcana, Grayhawk Initiative. This is an alternate type of initiative system that they're giving you an option of using. There have already been some mixed reviews about it, that some people feel it's a little complex, some people really like it, some people don't care whatsoever. So the fact is, if you're interested in trying something different, go ahead and check it out now. As I said, it's a completely different initiative system for use during combat. So if you're something you think you could use in your game, as a game master, a dungeon master, you should really check it out and see if you want to try implementing it. Experiment with it. It's, again, not fully complete, and it is an Unearthed Arcana, meaning it is an optional rule that they are playtesting effectively with you. So check it out now if you're interested in trying it. Also now out is a new one, Star Trek Adventures RPG. So this is a 2D20 system based in the Star Trek universe, where your players are things like captains and members of a crew, exploring space, going to new places within the own quadrants, new locations, seeking out new life, you know, the entire thing about Star Trek, while being members of Starfleet. So if you're interested in trying a new Star Trek RPG, it's now out now in PDF format. So the hardcover will theoretically come in the future. But if you at least want to try it out, PDF is available now. Also out is Blood and Bone, the RPG. It's said to be Game of Thrones meets D&D with a standardized D20 system, making things a little easier, removing some of the complexities of a D20 system, where there are no classes, there are only a number of traits that you build your character off of to make your characters a little bit more customizable about the kind of thing you're playing, set in this interesting mashup of two kinds of worlds. So let's move on to our card game / board game news. First off, we have a new expansion for Carcassonne, Under the Big Top. So I haven't heard about a Carcassonne expansion in quite a while, but this one adds a circus theme. It adds 20 new tiles, 2 new special types of tokens, and a number of expansions on the rules to give a new depth to your Carcassonne games with a, well, circus feeling to it, where you can attract people to an area through a circus. Now there is also out a new expansion for Eldercar, City in Ruins. This one's all about an Eldercar awakening deep under the heart of Africa, emerging from a prison, and basically you're going to have to deal with it to suppress this Eldercar to protect the world once again in this latest expansion for Eldercar. And finally, we have one more expansion out, The Wars to Come. This is for the Game of Thrones Iron Throne board game. This includes 2 new houses for you to play, 25 new allies, and some new expansions of the rule to add to your depth of war within the 7 kingdoms. So, if you're a big Game of Thrones fan, guess what? We got 2 new houses added into this base game before. So, 2 new groups that you could play from, along with a lot of other characters that can join the fray. So, but that's it for the news for this week. Links to any of these news stories will, of course, be in the description below. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. It's always important to share the news. If you have any questions about any of these topics or anything with the channel, go ahead and ask them in the comments below. I will do my best to answer them to the best of my abilities. If it's something that you think is a much more discussion type question or long-term question, you could send it to us for having us on discussing Tabletop this Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at www.twitch.tv/TantusandDracovin. We do like to answer questions there. You could also email us at discussingtabletop@yahoo.com if you feel like that's a better place. If you don't want to share this question and it is something you feel like we should discuss, go ahead and send it there. If you want to show extra support for the channel, you can always check out my Patreon, link in the description below. There's some great rewards there. It helps to grow and improve the channel. But regardless, until the next time, I bid you farewell.